everybody. Welcome. Thank you for checking it out, tuning in. I noticed I had one more subscriber than I thought I had, so it can be both of you or everyone. But I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around, guys. And to the subscribers that may have left as of recently, only reason I mention it is because I have a total of a handful or less, right? You guys have taught me everything about, not being annoying for some, to take what is best out of a bleak scenario. The reason these vlogs are not only vlogs, but as short as they are, because I love you guys. I'm as sensitive as anybody, and it would just mean that nobody would want to stick around for this garbage. For as long as I've recorded, those will go down in history as my most embarrassing. Any episode over, 20, 25 minutes is going to go down in history as my most embarrassing moments. But, so thanks for sticking around if you are, and then checking it out, tuning in if you're new here. What we do here, Potato Land, we don't do anything at all. I have no special skills that I can think of. All right, that's the second time I made fun of myself. Only thing I wanted to talk about, besides how are we and how is everybody, to dive right into it, is if you're going to make fun of yourself, good for you. Just checking my audio levels here. If you're going to make fun of yourself, good for you. It's all very welcome. Most people can... I'm going to have to turn the audio up. I don't know why this little tiny knob keeps spinning. I'm definitely not accidentally hitting it twice. Yeah, I noticed my audio levels are a little low right now. So it's a good thing I'm yelling here in my room all by myself. But also, we'll see how it turns out, I guess, in the final mix. Whatever. If you guys are doing okay, that's great. I suppose we should probably cover it first. And by that, I just mean, I hope you're alive. And then I hope you're well. And well could mean anything. It could mean success or your well-being, your health. So either way, I hope you're as good or if not better than me. That would be great. Okay, so to get into what we're talking about, and maybe we could talk about my week, I suppose, perhaps, maybe. I'm still just coming off that sickness, but then got a little bit healthier, I suppose. But let's talk about what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, before I make fun of myself one more time, or this show, or whatever, very happy with the turnout in terms of audio and lighting. Well, not audio quite yet, but so far it's looking good, and I only want to be more and more in terms of acting like this place is the place to be. Luring in the guests as well as viewers. So I was just I went and publicly spoke, I guess. How else do you put it? I'm, just as sensitive as the other guy, as we just brought up, right? So I went and publicly spoke for a second. How do you say, had a moment yesterday, this was, where I got up the nerves to put a microphone in front of my face with a PA system, talking to people. All very daunting, for sure. And what have I learned from, let's say, a guy who's not used to doing this stuff? What have I learned from last night? Aside from feeling a semi-natural high tonight, despite my lack of sleep, I learned that making fun of yourself is oh so dandy and great, and everybody loves it to an extent, I suppose. You know that everybody knows that guy who makes fun of themselves a little too much, right? He's like 40 or older or something. No, I don't know. It's not necessarily a reflection. I'm talking intelligence right now. It's not necessarily a reflection of anybody I would have run into recently or anything like that. I was really just going for humor there. But only that I noticed coming away from all this damage and disaster and why do I do this to myself is that if anybody were to be making fun of themselves, it's a sign that they're not. It's hard to say stuck. They haven't been recently stuck. They don't feel stuck. It's a healthy sign, of course, but yeah, so I'm just struggling with coping with the aftermath of making fun of myself. As you guys know already, as you may know already, we do it a tiny bit. No? I'm really just trying to get past it and hopefully open up my mind for further exploration, things to talk about, which we have nothing in the books this week. We have nothing prepared this week, so we'll see what happens here. But as far as anything to talk about, I didn't listen to last week's episode, and that's just because it's me trying to put in a weekly vlog / show, despite my physical well-being, despite my health, which is directly connected to my happiness, you could argue, right? Our happiness. By that I mean it happens to all of us. So I didn't want to listen to it. I'm not trying to pick up cues from the last week's episode. I could almost say performance there. But yeah, so I suppose in terms of things to talk about, I mean, all I got is it didn't work. I came off of, how do you do a show solo? You know, whatever you want to call this, but let's say show. How do you do a show solo without, you know, readdressing things, becoming too familiar, going off rambling for too long or whatever, and all that stuff? I understand that to even do a show by yourself requires talking about the show. It's like, it's just me and the guest, the natural guest is the framework that we stand on, which is talking loudly into, you know, at a camera lens, right? Until we go live, that is, which is one of my, certainly an aspiration. I would love to do live all the time. That's like streamers and stuff, and there are definitely people out there who are braver than me who are going live all the time. I mean, granted, we don't have any, I don't have much to do with my hands if I'm not smoking or drinking, and that's what I wanted to get at. In terms of how well am I doing, well, you know, got a little bit of a haircut, but that just means I took scissors to my own head on the sides. The rest of this is, how do you say, I already said disaster. The rest of this is not allowed to be visible. And maybe I'll hack at it during the week, as I tend to do and stuff. Giving yourself your own haircuts is a sign that I don't need somebody to directly teach me. I haven't gone on YouTube and looked at haircut tutorials. I think I tried to once at one point. But anyway, besides my appearance, how am I doing? You can kind of pick up on the cues. What I'm wearing right now, I just did my laundry, just finally got to it. Finding quarters is a struggle, and I actually just found out that we can use an app on the washing machines in my joint, so that's nice. I could pay another way. It's so crazy, the technology. They're shoving this inside old machines that take quarters. So whatever bot is inside the machine, how radical is that? The connected to the motherboard, or maybe they swap out the, whatever you want to call it, circuitry motherboard. Anyway, But my clothes are wet is my point there, and not even my choice of clothing for the day, but if you're doing your own show, you have to consider your fashion every week. What was I wearing before this? I was wearing... Oy, 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 good question. It's like, what did you eat for breakfast, right? Or yesterday's lunch? It just disappears quickly. Short-term memory, I think. I don't know, but if I had to guess, I would say it was a black shirt. I don't know. So maybe I'm even cheating on the appearance and stuff like that, but as you could tell, I got some of my energy back, especially from last show. And then as far as doing anything during the week, it's not really about me here, guys. It's just about if I was to try and find out how somebody else is doing besides their cadence and their... Because a lot of people are trying to show you their good side of them and stuff, especially upon meeting them. But even if you run into your regular folk or whatever, I would boil it down to, have they been working, especially if they have their own business and how that's going and stuff like that. But have they been contributing to the larger economy, feeling like a civilian, really? And then, well, in my case, especially if we're calling this a meeting up, how much have you been drinking or smoking in terms of drugs and sort of synthesizing a more higher state, right? And I did just come back from trying to round up quarters, really. And so I had a couple drinks, very, very local drinks, and a few cigarettes as well. That was a little bit back now. We're talking about an hour or so ago. So it's just me sober here tonight, guys. Today, whatever time of the day you want to be watching or listening. And well, really, it's the night before I release this, but just trying to off the bat just come up with stuff, and hopefully I haven't repeated myself too much. That's number one. And yeah, I'm still thinking about last week's episode about how animals keep their jobs and how that applies to what I said, and what I just talked about this week. But as far as not just the how we're doing and stuff, but things to talk about, I suppose I pretty much said it all, guys. I mean, it doesn't have to be 15 minutes or longer. We could leave early. Took a lot of vitamin C. Did I say that last week? I think I did. Yeah, so that's how I get rid of all the mucus, and I feel like the mucus is directly attributed to the headache. I could have been doing ibuprofen all week or last week as well, but I don't really tend to dabble. Don't tend to dabble in any of the harder stuff, things that are difficult on your liver. I don't tend to. But that's just trying to keep it plant-based. If you want to give me ayahuasca every day, I might even be able to handle that. But as far as anything sort of, I don't know, lab-made or what is it? I don't know. If I was to have cocaine, I'd be searching for hospital-grade stuff, and that's hard to find. And I suppose we can end on actually having another thing to talk about. But when it comes to that, I do choose my places where I go, or you could argue that I'm just judging the places that I go by not just how romantic they are, because we talk about that a little too much, right? But also, if I was to go to maybe here or there, equal place, let's say it's a barcade or something. In this case, it just so happens to have been. But I was just talking about this with some other dude playing pinball. He was by himself, but you never know. And we were talking about comparing two different places of the same thing. So it's like two different farmers markets. I don't know. Two different I don't know, libraries, restaurants, whatever. Restaurants is a little bit of a stretch, and so is libraries, and so is farmers markets, but places to go where you socialize is what I'm getting at. If I wanted to try and compare them to against each other, I would be looking for what is local versus what is sort of traveling friendly, right? I hope I haven't really talked about this before. It seems like I may have, but because we also talk about travel a little bit on this program. But I compare, and I'm not sure, I don't think, I would bet that I haven't talked about this. I compare your local stuff to, are you going to be able to find grade A cocaine? If there's not going to be as much meeting strangers from different places. Just realized how crappy my job is just there. Versus, are you going to be meeting people from different places? So, weighing it up. If you're watching this and you own a local, it could be anything but a hot spot. That's how we're judging your joint. Or that's how they should be looking at it, or at least one big factor. No, I'm still a little stuffed up in the nose from the boogers. But anyway, so yeah, and the joint that I went to was a little bit local, no huge, no big, especially on a random Thursday night. It's actually Friday now, if you ask the clock here, but local, and it's time to get out of here. And not really a chance of any explorative, let's say, psychedelics or whatnot, unless it's the weekends where I went. Maybe I should have gone a little bit further to find quarters. Perhaps I would have been luckier, too. I got 75 cents out of the dollar this time. Women are also business, how do you say, sharp business people as well. Not enough charm in me. It's happened to me once before. This is only the second time. I can deal with it. I'll make it through. But anyway, it's time. So maybe until next time, I want to thank everybody who has hung around. By that I mean 2 people, or by that I mean specifically 2 people. So thank you guys for hanging around, but also hanging out. And until next week, okay? Hope you're doing okay, and may your next week be better than mine. Surely it will be. I plan on just grinding. So, continuing the grind. It's the theme of some of this vlog stuff we do here. And yeah, I just hope it was fun, guys. And so I'll see you around the bend. Toodles. And till we see each other again. Can I say that? Okay. Mwah.